Oh, hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation community, who saw nothing, I might add. And welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the very excited Puppy of Interest 42 codenamed Charlie podcast. Also, somewhat, the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. Let's just say hello to her right out the gate since she's so excited. Just so very excited to say hello to you all. As you can see, she has regained her energy post-surgery. In fact, too much energy, I would say. Maybe chillax a little bit, little one. Maybe some quiets. I don't know. Is that possible? Can we be professionals? That's a little too loud. That's a little too much expectation for baby. I understand. It is just a bab after all. So, as I was saying, and welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for literally the last 10 and a half months, today is the 10 and a half month mark, I am here to open my office door to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, and oh boy, are we going to be talking about them today, or hypothetical containment procedures for anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, we are here for the next 2 hours today. We have a 2-hour office hours. But before I begin with our stream subject, let me handle a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, sleep-deprived Dragon of the Night. Congratulations on being our number 1 most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment team, i.e., congratulations on being first chatter. Then, Dr. Vincent, Amber, Philip November, Captain Evil Greasy John, 369 Destroyer, Chesta Factory, Not a Chaos Insurgency Spy, Senior Researcher Alex, Wozcom, Philip November, Jameson, 100 stars, Java Name, everyone who I have just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being members here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Meanwhile, Hazard, David Mutta, Fino Senors, The Rake, and I on Taco. Everyone who I have just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here today, just for being you. Now, for today's sponsors for today's stream, of course, we are still supporting and hoping for the success of SCP Eye of the Beholder Season 1. Their Kickstarter has gotten a little more backing, but obviously, We need more. If we're going to get season 1 of this original audio narrative podcast available on your favorite podcasting platforms, it has anomalous staff members. It has yaoi with some anomalies, which I don't approve of, but some of you seem to be into that. So if you are interested in hearing out what this very well edited and voice casted podcast can be, make sure to give it a Kickstarter at the Site42 support beacon that is pinned in the chat. Remember, we support these small projects so they get the resources and the skills in making to make bigger projects down the road. So don't sleep on the small projects, please. That being said, we also have the big project, SCP Galleonic, otherwise we're calling it SCP the Anime, is another $4,000 closer to its maximum stretch goals today. We still need that number to be 280,000 to get the full 20-minute short. So we're only at 15 minutes, folks. We got to keep pushing. Keep pushing. Mobile Task Force Sci-42, you have your orders to spread the word. Donate if you can. Share if you've already donated or can't donate. And finally, we have a new member of the SCP YouTube community. Welcome to the Dr. Man YouTube channel. Dr. Man, as in the legitimate master administrator of the SCP Wiki, now has a YouTube channel. And they are coming in hot by clickbaiting with Dr. Sumerian's formatting. You're wrong about SCP-682. And so, if you want some more SCP Foundation content on your YouTube, I can't think of a better source than someone who has been writing for the SCP Wiki for 16 years. So maybe you should go to @DrManSCP, comment on this video, Dr. Sherman sent you, and let him know that SCP YouTube has the SCP Wiki's back. And let me hop over to my Discord real quick, just to say, so yes, Dr. Man, longtime author on the SCP Wiki, creator of SCPs like Fred the Self-Inserting Character, the Racist Alien Beauremont, and The Doorway to Nowhere, as well as guides for writing, such as Conservation of What the Fuck and Classified and You. So, Dr. Man SCP on YouTube, go say hello on our behalf. So, with that, we have cleared our sponsors for the day. Now, oh boy, here we go. Philip November, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a croquette on your way past the commissary. Can we go 5 minutes without world leaders starting caca? No, I don't believe we can, and yes, this is relevant to my stream subject. So, as many of you I'm sure are aware, SCP-5004-B, hashtag Clef for President, please. SCP-5004-B has led wartime efforts in the country of Iran. Now, the SCP Foundation normally does not care too much about international politics. Our job is handling the anomalous. When it comes to civilian wars, when it comes to country versus country, not our problem. Unless it messes with our shit. And today, the actions of SCP-5004-B are indeed messing with our shit. Because some of you may be familiar, some of you may not be familiar with a group of interest on the SCP database called ORIA. O-R-I-A. Otherwise known as the Organization for the Reclamation of Islamic Artifacts, based in Tehran of the Islamic Republic of Iran. This is the SCP Foundation analog of the country of Iran. Before the Iranian Revolution, the SCP Foundation had multiple sites throughout the Middle East, including within the borders of Iran. But after the Shah was toppled, the Office of the Reclamation of Islamic Artifacts sought out our bases and basically gutted and executed a lot of members of the SCP Foundation staff. Yes, we do still have a presence in Iran because we're very sneaky, but you might say we're not on great terms with Oriya. Of course, like all groups of interest, we are required to work together at times when it comes to certain world-ending threats, certain containments, certain treaties. But oh man, are we not fans of this particular group of interest because, you know, they killed a bunch of our guys. Not very friendly behavior. That being said, we have done similar things to them. It's a tete-a-tete, a back and forth. Anyways, we are sitting on multiple anomalies that have been carelessly struck because of these rampant bombings. And I want you to be aware of the caliber of anomaly that the Oriya typically contains and the things that we're afraid are on the loose right now. So, starting with SCP-6943, specifically SCP-6943-1, because there are multiple of these anomalies, but we only had access to one of them. So, the -1 of SCP-6943 is an ornate gold bracelet, 8 centimeters in diameter and weighing 1.5 kilograms. The item has a simplistic base design, extensively engraved with Sumerian cuneiform and iconography that corresponds to several major Sumerian deities. So, this, along with all the anomalies like it, have been going back and forth between Oriya, the SCP Foundation, and the Horizon Initiative, which is another Abrahamic religion-based group of interest. And the problem is, if you wear just one of these bracelets, the SCP-6943-1, let me tell you what this bracelet does. When worn, SCP-6943-1 enables its wielder to mentally manipulate several specific aspects of their local environment, which cooperate to grant significant control over geographic and atmospheric conditions. What does that mean? Technical speak? Let me simplify it for you. Alteration of ambient temperature, enabling the inducement of heat snaps or cold snaps. So, you can make the temperature around you hotter or colder. Ectoentropic manifestation, demanifestation, and telekinetic manipulation of water with a salinity below 1 per mil. It turns you into a waterbender. In conjunction with the above, the wearer is capable of rapidly inducing Arctic icy conditions, controlling local humidity, and spontaneously manifesting clouds and/or rain. Oh, trust me, it gets worse. Telekinetic manipulation of both lower and upper atmospheric gases, enabling creation and manipulation of air currents, as well as localized increases in UV light exposure through ozone thinning. In conjunction with the previous properties, this additionally enables the creation and manipulation of major meteorological hazards such as thunderstorms and cyclones, and analogs thereof. No, we're not done yet. Telekinetic manipulation of the local geology, enabling the creation or alteration of geologic formations such as hills, sinkholes, fissures, and caves, and additionally the generation of localized earthquakes. This thing turns you into a combination of the Avatar and Storm from the X-Men. A bracelet gives you all of that reality-bending ability. Don't tell me they are capable of bloodbending. I'm sorry, Woscom, but if you can move liquids, then that just got to tell you, part per thousand, with a salinity below 1 per mil, parts per thousand, 1 per mil is approximately the upper limit of drinkable water for humans. So the question becomes, does blood fit that? I don't think blood fits that, but if it did, then yes, bloodbending. Now, if you read the SCP-6943-1 document, you learn two things about this bracelet. Number one, we don't know where it is. We had it in our care, and then during transport, there was a heist. They knocked out our truck's technology, there was a big fight over the bracelet, and it's missing. We don't know if it's in an... We also think maybe that we tagged it with the wrong GPS and it might not even have been involved in the heist. Or this bracelet could be in the hands of Oriah. Or it could be in the hands of the Horizon Initiative. Or it could be rotting in a warehouse. We don't know. But also we know that this is not the only one of these bracelets. Every document we have read, every religious text that mentions these bracelets says there's more than one. And we only had one. So where are the rest? Who else has the reality-bending bracelet that makes you the Avatar / Storm from X-Men? And if it's in Oriah's possession, what do we think of all of these bombs blowing up their storehouses right now? Not a great plan. But that's not all. That's not all. No. It's not just one anomaly that's in trouble. You see, these are their warehouses. These are the storehouses for Oriah. What else could we have on the list here? Well, how about SCP-6678? SCP-6678 is a doorway measuring 2 meters in height by 1 meter in width. Coincidentally, the same proportions as SCP-999. Composed of Mediterranean cypress wood. It is located near the summit of Sayakaman Mountain in the Mazandaran province of Iran. Now, obviously, this is going off the map. We don't know exactly what SCP-5004-B is fully planning because the idiot is having its brain sapped from its reality sync abilities. If you haven't read SCP-5004, being a reality sync, which makes you immune to anomalies and also nullify anomalies in a radius around you, it also makes you hella stupid. It makes your brain mush. Explains a lot about SCP-5004-B, who happens to be the President of the United States currently. Doesn't it? And so, as I was saying, this doorway is a door that's at the summit of a mountain. Why is it at the summit of a mountain? We don't know. It's an anomaly. But going into the doorway led to an extra-dimensional space. And that extra-dimensional space contains a deposit of at least 4,000 metric tons of beryllium bronze. Now, does beryllium bronze mean anything to you, Containment Hazard Assessment Team? I am currently allowing some students to raise their hand and tell me why beryllium bronze would be so important to the SCP Foundation that we are worried about it in this scenario. No, Stephen Tambari, it has nothing to do with titanium. Not a goddamn thing to do with SCP-022-J. We don't even need to talk about it. And by God, in that case, I am invoking SCP-4477, Cockblock Jesus, except that it's Cockblock Jesus cockblocking the titanium dick from being part of this conversation. It's part of Kane. Intern Centerfield, is that true? That beryllium bronze is a part of Kane's cybernetics? I'm interested. I will look that up and see if you are correct about that. Going to SCP-073 on the document. I wouldn't be surprised if I put on bronze. Yes, most notably, beryllium bronze is a component found in 1216, 1427, 2481, and 2711. Those are the anomaly numbers, so those are SCPs as well. So yes, you are correct in saying that is the metal that is used on Kane. Now, here's the deal. Why do we care about beryllium bronze, besides the fact that it's a part of Kane's cybernetics? It is because, and let me quote the SCP-6678 document here. Beryllium bronze is an anomalous alloy created through unknown methods during the First and Second Occult Wars, occurring around 100,000 to 10,000 BCE. It is one of the most useful anomalous materials available to the Foundation, with its emotional conductivity being unparalleled by any modern alloy. Through several thaumaturgic rituals, beryllium bronze can be infused with several emotions that can become a sustainable emitter of those emotions for over 3,000 years. The integration of calmness-infused beryllium bronze in the clothing of researchers in Mobile Task Force uniforms has reduced the rate and intensity of mental attacks by SCPs by 60% over the last 40 years. The Foundation's demand for beryllium bronze will only grow in the future. The loss of such a large reserve of the material will be detrimental to the Foundation's work and security. So, suffice it to say, SCP-6767, the Bronze Lizard, I do believe that it sheds a skin of beryllium bronze. Yes. 6767. Yes, the SCP-6767 is a small sapient reptile composed entirely of beryllium bronze alloy. And so we harvest when it sheds its outer layer, allowing us to have more beryllium bronze, but it's a very slow process. So, suffice it to say, that resource would be very important to the Foundation's efforts. But of course, if you read SCP-6678, some would claim that the Foundation is doing a, quote, hacking colonialism, trying to get access to that material from Iran. But that's not my problem. My problem is getting hold of the bronze, so we can use it to secure, contain, and protect. And SCP-5004-B is fucking that up. What if they blow the door? What if we can't get to that deposit anymore? So, as you can imagine, the actions of SCP-5004-B, otherwise known as Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, are causing a lot of headaches right now, both for the Office for the Reclamation of Islamic Artifacts and us by proxy, making sure that anomalies stay contained or not blown up. So, let's just say world events right now are making my job a lot harder than they need to be. Not that that's a new phenomenon. So, Site-42 staff, now that I have told you about our sponsors, about our stream subject, we have approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes of general Q&A. Let me head over to the chat, catch up on any donations I have missed, and then we will begin the standard Q&A. Let me refresh the chat because it's having a bit of a loading glitch. Oh, loud noise, no more playing with toy. Anyways, some dude just said if we can duplicate the lizard. Intern Toby, we already have duplicated the lizard. We did so by bifurcating it with a cutting laser. It then became 2 living SCP-682s of a smaller size, until they fought each other to the death and one reabsorbed the other. So, we've already done that. We don't want to do it again. Okay, starting at the top. Chesta Factory, thank you for your 9 months as a level 1 researcher. We appreciate your membership and your service. Working on getting SPC 3008 at the moment. Oh, okay. Be careful of the Shark Punching Center. They are really excited about punching those plushies. Civil Protection Heats Flamesman. Heats Flamesman, thank you for your first donation of today's stream as well as being a member. Get yourself a shawarma on your way past the commissary. Back from escaping Site-42, the vacation was amazing. Don't worry, I made sure to dispose of all the Serpent's Hand guys before coming back, Dr. Sherman. Well, good work. We appreciate that. Goose Goose, thank you for your 4 months as a level 1 researcher, and thank you for making your gifted membership a permanent membership. We appreciate you sticking around here at Site 42. Your service and your membership has been an immeasurable good to help us win the battle against the white names. Philip November, thank you for donating again to say, bloodbending was a mistake in Avatar: The Last Airbender. It should be a rule that no bender can bend the elements in other people's bodies. Well, there are people who would say that calling it a taboo to bloodbend when it was the survivor of a genocide going back and forth against the oppressors, you should have grace for that. I don't know. I'm not here to advocate for the morality of anomalies. I'm here to put them in boxes. Site 42 has a new subscriber. Intern Bailey, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. First time seeing this channel. Context, Intern Ariana. I guess you're just waking up from amnestic treatment, so welcome back to consciousness. We here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director of Site 42, and you Foundation staff members are here in my daily stream to ask questions about the SCP Foundation that I will answer for you. So, if you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff that contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps are from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom, we are here to talk shop. I'm here to educate you cadets and staff members about the SCP Foundation so you have the best knowledge to make sure to help us secure, contain, and protect. Intern Caitlin, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a box of red vines on your way past the commissary. What is 999 SCP? Well, SCP-999 is a orange slime about the size of a couch. It's 2 meters wide by 1 meter tall, and it subsists on a diet of sweets, candy specifically, and it has a touch effect, if you touch it, that it provides a mild tickle and euphoria that can sometimes be helpful in treating PTSD in certain people. So yes, it is a happy, happy slime. It acts with the intelligence of about a small, happy dog. The Beast Snow, thank you for your 1 month as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Guess who's back and going broke? It is me. I am broke. I'm sorry to hear it, Beast. Remember, first and foremost, never donate to Site 42 or any SCP Kickstarter project that we are supporting past your financial well-being. Times are tough, and if you are going to not be able to pay rent or eat because you donated to us, that would be bad. So please only donate within your means. We still, if you are broke gang, appreciate the support as members of Mobile Task Force Sci 42, codenamed the Signal Boosters, when you are sharing our projects, liking, commenting, chatting, to help the stream get engagement, to help more people find us, as well as for the projects we support. So do not financially harm yourself on our behalf. Thank you, over and out. Lil Ghost Does Stuff. Thank you for sending a flower to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they found it quite pretty. 100 stars. Thank you for sending a 100 to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure that the chat will continue to keep it 100 thanks to your urging. Brotum, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Get yourself a muffin on your way past the commissary. I've been trying to get transferred to the pataphysics department, but I keep, what was I talking about again? Oh, yeah, it seems like they really want to keep you out of there for reasons of trying to climb pataphysical narrative levels like a ladder, you said. And so, yes, they will continue to keep amnesticizing you until you stop trying to leave our plane of existence, so to speak. Saw some Ko-Fi notifications. Let me get those before I forget they exist. Aflac, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Thank you for making the effort to donate through the Ko-Fi, because it only takes 3% of your donation for transfer fees, versus YouTube that takes a cool 30% of your donation. So especially for larger donations, we appreciate you making the effort to use the Ko-Fi. Grab yourself some minestrone on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, I have a team looking into all anomalies falling under Oria's purview. Do not worry, we'll contain all that escaped. Fingers crossed, and remember, stay off Oria's radar if you're on the ground there, because, oh my gosh, are they not going to want to see members of the SCP Foundation right now. We do not need to lose another run of staff because we got caught up in the wake of this. Guess it's a good thing we don't have the funding issues that the UIU has. Seriously, Jim, we don't need a budget cut. Yes, thankfully, even at our worst budgets, we're not as bad as the UI useless. Dr. Sherman, can you ask Site-19 staff to transfer me to your site? Well, since you are an SCP-1048-A, the answer is no. I do not want a Builder Bear at my site whatsoever. You stay in your containment cell at Site-19. I'm just glad they locked you up again. Ugh. Frickin' ear bear. Chester Factory, thank you for donating the first time today, as well as being a member. Thank you for going through the Ko-Fi as well. Grab yourself a tortellini un brodo on your way past the commissary. I am wanting to get a SPC 3008 so I can punch it. YouTube just didn't like me saying that. Also, what do you think of SCP-SCP-J? So first of all, hey, if you want to punch that plushie, that's between you and that plushie. I'm sure the Shark Punching Center would be proud. Second of all, I assume if you wanted some help abusing that Blahau, however you pronounce those, then Puppy of Interest 42, codename Charlie, would be happy to help you. She has been straight up ripping through some plushies recently. She is obviously the child of a Florida man because she's a little alligator. Violence is the answer with that one. But friendly violence, fun violence, the kind we like. The violence that is the answer. Also, what do you think of SCP-SCP-J? Well, I'm not familiar with that anomaly. Let me take a quick look at it. SCP-SCP-J. I think I remember this one. So this is the document. Early prototype design of the little shit. Correction, SCP-SCP-J. Oh no, I do remember this. Description: SCP-SCP-J, formerly known as Skippy, is a cartoon mascot found in training videos for D-Class personnel prior to 1994. After retirement in 1995, Skippy worked as a Class B containment specialist at Site-58. Its anomalous qualities became apparent when personnel at Site-58 attempted to perform any kind of official work. And it looks like you're dealing with a containment breach. Would you like some help? Not the time, Skippy. The time is currently 5:23 p.m., but perhaps you should focus on the matter at hand. Containment breaches are very serious problems that must be addressed with your full attention. Have you notified the breach desk? Get out of the way. I have to get to the containment chamber. The containment chamber? Incorrect. In the event of a containment breach, the breach should be notified. The breach desk should be notified. This is step 1. Step 2, I will feed you headfirst into a non-anomalous wood chipper if you don't get out of my fucking way this instant. That does not sound like it would be productive use of your time, especially during a containment breach. Would you like me to contact the breach desk for you? I feast. It's eating my legs! I'm sorry. Lunchtime was 4 hours ago. Oh, that's not even the worst thing Skippy's done on site. You can remember the SCP Foundation theme park in the Broken Masquerade universe, where we had a Skippy mascot that beat people to death with its bare hands. Reminder, a game based on the abandoned SCP Foundation theme park would be so good. Indie game devs, get on it. The SCP is codenamed Foundation Land. You'll find it. And secondarily, that time when Skippy caused data break because it got so mad at Dedo, which honestly, fair. we are returning to the chat, refreshing it, because of course my browser wants to be a little glitch. Heats Flamesman, thank you for donating again to say, I joined Civil Protection. Great job, honestly. Also, how would you contain Gabriel from Ultrakill? Oop, gotta do a home search. Huh. Gabriel, isn't that? That's not V1, the main character. Gabriel Ultrakill. What do you do? Main antagonist. Will of God, among the most powerful of all the angels. When he was defeated by V1 for the first time in Gluttony, the council believed him to be squandering his power and cut him off for the light. Abilities. Well, first of all, I mean, if V1 defeated it, then we just have to do something similar to that. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do. Retreats to the moon, presumably heaven's first lair, in order to liberate in the epilogue. He eventually comes to the conclusion that God is missing or dead, and he has been manipulated by the Heavenly Council who commit atrocities and attempt to control the system God has left behind. He returns to the Heavenly Council and probably executes the council members, perishes one of their decapitated heads before a crowd of heavenly denizens. Having accepted his imminent death, he prepares to spend his last hours in hell. Oh, well, it's just in hell. That's good and well contained already. It's given up. I love when the anomaly stays where it is. Like the Gate Guardian. The Gate Guardian just stands there. So as long as we keep people away from it, it's fine. And it's pretty easy to keep people away from hell. At least living people. The people who die and go to hell, well, they're already dead. Therefore, their knowing of this entity will have nothing to do with normalcy being maintained for the living human population. So, excellent. Blue Meowl, thank you for sending a happy poop to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they appreciated the smell. Researcher Valentino, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a plate of dino nuggies on your way past the commissary. Now, specifically, I don't mean chicken nuggets shaped like dinosaurs. I do specifically mean nuggies made from dinosaurs, from the dinosaur theme park across the way. So, yes, be specific with the commissary crew now. Hey, Dr. Sherman, I found some random red goop in my basement. Can you research it? It looks quite weird. I poked it with a stick. It slimed away. Random red goop, basement. Well, if it slimed away, then we can't study it until we find it again. But get a sample if there's any runoff, and we can try to investigate that. Researcher Last, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a Chicka Cherry Cola on your way past the commissary. Found an instance of SCP-729! That's it! In the shop, told the mobile task force. Yes, yes, good. You alerted security. That's what you were supposed to do. Thank you for following protocol. Philip November, thank you for donating again to say, remember, I sent a pic of that thing to a dog toy. Yes, I remember multiple pictures of that in my inbox. It was very upsetting. Thanks for the reminder. Sleepy Humph, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Grab yourself a milkshake on your way past the commissary. The commissary was mean to me. Okay, I need you to be specific. Was a staff member in the commissary mean to you? Because in that case, that's just a disciplinary thing we need to work out. Was a member of the commissary employee staff rude to you? Because then we have to work on you asserting dominance with the commissary staff to earn their respect. Or was the commissary building itself mean to you? Because in that place, we're going to have to requisition some Foundation thaumaturges to exercise the building again. Affleck, thank you for donating again to say, from now on, I decree all containment structures are made of tight... Oh, what was that for? Sorry about that. Some numpty got to my computer. And I want you to throw that numpty in a box. A titanium box, since they love it so much. No air holes. We'll let them out when they pass out, obviously. Dr. Sherman, have we considered trying to use SCP-4469 to find the bracelets? Also, if SCP-5582 appeared in your site for how would you try to contain it? Well, first I need to look at 4469. So, 4469, get rid of that tab. Got that tab, 4469. The Memory Shovel. Shovel covered in various handwritten signatures and names of people. Other than vandalism in its blade, 4469 is otherwise in pristine physical condition. Also incapable of being damaged. Carries a total of 12 names written across the surface of the blade. When a new name is added and written on the blade, the oldest signature disappears. When used with the corresponding individual, 4469 will unearth an object that the individual had lost or forgotten about. These items often hold a high degree of emotional and personal connection to the individual. So, that last thing is your problem. The security staff carrying the bracelet did not have a very strong connection to it. It's worth the shot, but we'd have to go through the chain of command of the entire people who held this anomaly. So it might take a while. And because they're not the real owners, they're just the stewards of containment, they might not have the right emotional connection to find it, but hell, worth a shot. And then you mentioned 5582. That is what you mentioned, right? I can't find your name to confirm I'm answering the right SCP. It is somewhere. There it is. Yes, 5582, which is a 3-year-old octopus capable of surviving an indefinite amount of time without water, sapient and advanced problem-solving skills, could not be subjected to any test in this regard due to its constant containment breaches, but today 5582 was able to solve any logical problem encountered. So, a octopus that is super smart, able to survive on land, and can't be contained because it keeps getting away, solving the containment issues. Boom, boom. Okay, well, it seems like... Have we tried? I'm looking at the containment log. Site 43 had a run of trying to contain it. But it does not look like we are logged as having tried to contain SCP-5582. I would have to look through its containment logs and see what has worked and what hasn't to figure out a viable strategy. But let's remember, this thing being an escape artist is sort of the same game as writing SCP-682 termination logs. As mentioned in our sponsor today, Dr. Man's YouTube channel, the Master Administrator of the SCP Foundation. Is it Master or Main? Am I just overselling that? SCP Wiki, meet the staff. Dr. Everett Mann, yes, is the Master Admin. I was not overselling it. So Dr. Mann SCP on YouTube is the Master Administrator of the SCP Wiki. That said, his first video today about 682 outlines the same thing I just mentioned. The game of 682 is not trying to kill it. but making a prompt and then being the one to figure out how it escapes that prompt creatively. So it seems like that game is the same for the octopus, so I would have to do a little research and then have some fun writing a scenario around it. Sleepy Humph, thank you for donating again to say, it was the building. A ceiling tile fell on me. Are you sure that that wasn't the octopus just escaping through the ventilation system and then knocking down a ceiling tile? It might not have been that personal. 369 Destroyer, thank you for sending your first donation of today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a fruit tart on your way past the commissary. And funnily enough, you didn't send a message with your donation, so simply, thank you for your generosity. Dr. Sherman, do you think Iron Lung is as close as we get for an SCP movie, since Iron Lung is like those exploration logs going insane with a bad ending? Lol. Intern Tenzoms, I do not think that Iron Lung is the closest we will ever get to an SCP movie, because I have made it my mission in life to work with other filmmakers to make an actual SCP movie happen. Now, Containment Breach, the movie, by Keter Labs, is our closest right now, because they have a 10-minute proof of concept that went to film festivals. They are teaming up with Decentralized Pictures, DCP, which is a non-profit for indie filmmakers formed by the Coppola siblings, so Film Dynasty, helping indie filmmakers outside the Hollywood system. And so they are going to, I think they're going to have a good shot at getting their Kickstarter and their grant and making their film happen, and I will be supporting them the whole way. Along that same vote, regular user asking, y'all ever heard of SCP Gallionic? Intern Regular, we are the #1 YouTube channel for hyping SCP Gallionic. We have been with them since day one. We are hyping them up. We are trying to get them made. Also, remember, on Monday morning, they are also having a podcast with Decentralized Pictures. Keter Labs, I believe, I haven't confirmed this, got DCP to hook up with some studios as well. And so on the Decentralized Pictures YouTube channel, scheduled for 9 a.m. Western Time, 12 noon Eastern Time, United States, of course, time zones, we are looking at a podcast between some studios of SCP Gallionic and Decentralized Pictures. And so it would be very cool if they teamed up to make this even better. I am looking forward to seeing what we can get answers on. Dr. Sherman, if Odysseus from Greek mythology was an SCP, how would you contain him? Intern Croton, you have my interest. I want to know if Odysseus already is an anomaly. I would not be shocked. Odysseus. Is Odysseus an SCP? Let's take a look and see what it is or isn't. What it is or isn't. Odysseus is mentioned 137 times on the SCP database. And if I search for Odysseus on this page, it seems there is a collapsible here that I'm missing. Well, that's not helpful. Searching. There's a lot of mentions of Odysseus, but it does not seem like Odysseus has been made into an SCP proper, despite being mentioned for Public Domain Con. So maybe, yes, okay, yes. Qualifying team name. Character Odysseus. Additional awards. Stands, tail, author, Spider-Man pointing. The mechanisms. Qualifying team name, character. So what did the mechanisms make? Their vote got top 4 entries, 211 votes. Non-qualifying teams, qualifying teams unordered. Provisional Government, Occupied Third Law, Team Fortress, Big Whale, Hounds of Baskerville, the mechanisms. Hub, Nobody Dies at Dawn Hub, with 8472 being the once and future king. SCP-8472 is literally a naval vessel of mechanite make, believed to have been constructed around 1200 BCE during the late era of the Broken Empire and the First Occult War. So is this Odysseus' ship? You should look into SCP-8472 for Odysseus maxing, as well as a hub called Nobody Dies at Dawn. Because if that's the character for this team, then Odysseus is probably within the Nobody Dies at Dawn hub. Okay, well, that was an interesting little tangent. I'm happy I took a look at that. Popping back to the chat, seeing where we are. Do you think, Perky Goth, thank you for your 32 months as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. Your nearly 3 years of tenure here is a marvel to the rest of the Containment Hazard Assessment team. We appreciate your membership and your service. Do you think Caramel Dancin' is anomalous? Yes. No further questions. Marksky, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a chalupa on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, we have attempted to study the effects of SCP-5004-B on SCP-4521. Perhaps it's an easier way to get to Scream without suggesting ourselves to that thing. We can't do so right now because 5004-B is still President of the United States of America. But once we get rid of that son of a bitch, I would love to stick it in a cell with 4521 and see if it screams because of that idiot. I would not be shocked. Shermune Miku, you got any SCP that you are surprised aren't as popular as they feel like they are? So, Captain Evil Greasy John, are there any SCPs that I feel like aren't as popular as they feel like they are? I don't quite understand your question. I understand popular as if I think they should be more popular, sure. Suffice it to say, you know who should be more popular? SCP-008-J, codenamed Jeff. Jeff's a real nice guy. Think we should be hanging out with Jeff more often. James the Rail Fan, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a handful of marshmallows on your way past the commissary. Hi, Dr. Sherman. Guess what? We got the tree to scream again. You really need to get down here so we can test the spitefully stoic around Dr. Sherman theory. Really? I'll check my recordings later to confirm this, but in the meantime, what did you do to make it scream this time? Captain Evil Greasy John, if I go back to your question about popularity of articles, and I go with what Desk has mentioned, meaning maybe you were asking if I thought there were some that were overrated, then perhaps I would mention that there's a lot of the more popular SCPs that, due to overexposure, people who are actually hardcore into the community, the authors and such, find them annoying because they take up all the air in conversation about SCP. So when you think of the most popular SCPs, that people talk about, like the ones from Containment Breach et al., When Day Breaks. A lot of the SCP community at large thinks, or the core community, sees them as, yeah, they're good, but maybe not as good as all that popularity. Which, you know, you're not going to be able to control what people find memetically interesting, so to speak. James the Rail Fan, thank you for donating again to say, never going to believe this, but SCP-4521 screamed due to the current political situation. Shocking, I know. Well, I mean, thanks to all the extra work I have to do cleaning up after the Oriya storehouses that are being bombed. Yeah, I too want to scream after this situation. But are you sure it wasn't a neighboring tree nearby or a stressed out intern? Confirm on the recordings and get back to me. What are your opinions on the other GOIs? They should get out of our way and let us do our job. Next question. Intern Barker, while you are suggesting some probably pretty cool music for stream, I am going to stick with what we know is A, copyright safe, and B, supported by SCP or created by SCP author and friend of the channel Billith in their experimental music program Slowgramming, in which they literally make a bunch of music about different SCP stories. So, I cannot think of more appropriate music to use for our streams than that. I appreciate the offer, though. If we didn't have such a good match, perhaps I would consider some other music. James the Rail Fan, thank you for donating again to say, I mean, we torched the forest to get rid of false positives, sure. Why would there be a forest? We have the tree in a containment cell, right? We moved it to site. There's not a forest to torch. I mean, unless you were torching a forest on a video call to show 4521 to make it screen, but it's inside, it's in the bioterrarium. That's all we have. Also, why am I not signed in? There we go. Intern Ann, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a ice cream cone on your way past the commissary. Hi, Dr. Sherman. I want to know who your favorite SCPs are. Well, since you donated, I'll tell you right now instead of waiting till the end of the stream. My favorite SCPs, in no particular order, are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Although content warning for that last one, it's a bit of a rough read. So speed round. 3999-304-3008, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 8980, content warning, the last one's a rough read. Philip November, thank you for donating again. When 5004 kicks over, can we clone him like the SCP, I forget its designation, Immortal Hitler clone, so we can punch him? Also, I hate how we have to self-censor because YouTube hates us. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly mad that YouTube is censoring that a little bit because, Well, imagine what we would get in the chat if we didn't have those. But suffice it to say, unfortunately, I do not think we have that much access to the anomalous components to make an immortal 5004-B clone for punching purposes. But if you start looking for the materials and you happen to find some and you happen to get enough to make it, then, hey, I'll consider the proposal. You've got my interest. Thank you. I'm kind of new to the community, but you're my absolute fave. Well, I'm happy to hear it, intern Anne. The SCP Foundation is a great community of artists. There is so much being made daily. We're getting bigger and better projects as the community evolves over time. And so, welcome into the hot spot. You can ask questions along the way if you like, and I will try to help people get used to the place, because the problem with the SCP Foundation community is the same problem trying to get into, like, comic books, which is there's so much material, how do you even know where to start? And so, at least for us here, we've got the opportunity to answer questions and get people in the right directions for what might interest them. All right, let's clear this up here. How do y'all even have the money to do all this crap? Well, intern Albatross, the fun thing about the SCP community is, at least for the writing and the art portion, it's all free to do. It's just artists making their work. I mean, I guess you do have to have free time, which is difficult when you are having to work too much to make enough money to afford food and insurance and things like that. Rough times. But if you have the free time and you choose to make art with it, that's great, and that's how we get SCPs. Furthermore, when we get into projects like SCP Galleonic, the anime, or SCP Containment Breach, the movie by Keter Labs, then we're looking at crowdfunding. We're looking at a group of people who are passionate, everyone chips in a little bit, and we build a mountain that way. So it's good things. It's about teamwork is what it's about. Hey, Dr. Sherman, do you know about Homestuck? Would its characters be considered SCPs? Oh, do I know about Homestuck? Not that I've ever consumed Homestuck material myself, but I did work for an anime convention for multiple years. And in that time, I've seen a lot of bathtubs ruined by gray body paint. Yeah. That being said, yes, I do believe the entities of Homestuck would be anomalies. Is that his natural hair color? Yes, intern Robber, my hair is naturally red, yellow, and blue. That is completely natural and not at all dyed by the on-site stylist. This is a joke. Phil of November, thank you for donating again to say, the Pentagon has failed the last 7 or 8 audits for $2.3 trillion. Was that sent to the Foundation? Unfortunately, no. No, that's just general corruption, waste, fraud, and abuse from the upper echelons of American society. Now, thankfully, some of them do benefactor for the Foundation, but not as many of them as we would like. I heard, so here's the thing, talk about that SCP that jump scares you. A document, may I add. Captain Evil Greasy John, when you say that SCP that jump scares you, which one are you talking about? Because I can think of a couple that fit that, such as the antique chess computer has a jump scare. Doctor, is there any rat SCP? Well, intern McGores, what I would suggest you do in the future, if you have this interest, is head to the SCP database, and on the SCP home page, if you go to the top right, you will see the search function. And then you can type in the search bar, rat, and, well, 8,106 pages mention rat. Let's add the tag SCP to see if we can lower that a little bit. Now we have 3,700 pages tagged with rat. And so, 798 is an anomalous rat. 8293 is Blorb the wizard rat. So wait, there's a wizard frog and a wizard rat? Are they friends? Rivals? Huh. Suffice it to say, there's a fair amount of anomalous rats for your rat-enjoying pleasure. Take this as a instruction on how to search for things yourself in the future on the SCP database. SCP-8293, referred to as Blorb the wizard rat, appears to be a highly intelligent male albino specimen of Rattus norvegicus that is 31 centimeters head of tail. Due to a thaumaturgical accident, 8293 possesses a large quantity of innate thaumaturgical power used to speak and to transform ordinary items into cheese, and significantly higher intelligence. So, it is a rat wizard that turns objects into cheese. Cool. Oh no! Oh no! So, just one moment, we're reading this. Post-containment interview with the rat wizard. Dr. Scarborough is interviewing the anomaly. Hello, SCP-8293. Today I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Is that all right with you? Of course, although I doubt you'd take no for an answer. While I can't force you to talk, it would be in your best interests. First question, how did you gain these powers? Well, first of all, I was looking for a good, rich apartment to permanently borrow some food from. One of them looked promising. They had a full fridge and pantry. I waited in the vents until they fell asleep. But as it was getting dark, I saw a large circle on the ground glowing as brightly as a supernova. I couldn't control myself and ran straight in. Next thing I knew, I was talking to a nice old lady about the infinite expanse of the universe. Interesting. I see you use your powers almost immediately. What was your life like before this incident? It wasn't too bad, though sometimes difficult to find food. The thing that pushed me through those hard times was a very nice, very poor old man. Okay, so we're having an interview with an old man. Gotcha. Nice guy. Wow, he sounds like an incredible guy. I noticed you talk about stargazing. What was your favorite thing to look for? The moon, actually. I get that it can be annoying when stargazing, but it's just so bright and beautiful. In that sense, it's like cheese in a way. Begins to laugh quietly to themselves before calming down. What's your favorite celestial body? Mine's also the moon. It's just so important for our daily lives. My previous project was actually about what to do if an important celestial body, like the moon, were to disappear for some reason. Sadly, funding was canceled because not enough planets or moons have been disappearing. It's really too bad. I like that project. Huh. It sounds like you really need the moon to disappear. I guess? Thanks for answering all my questions. I'm going to end the interview here. Goodbye. Oh boy. Further interview. Hello, SCP-8293. I'm going to get straight to the point this time. Why were you turning your food into cheese? I was, missing cheese, yeah. Really? You just wanted more cheese? You could have asked, you know. Geez, I'm sorry. I didn't think it would that be a big a deal. You didn't think using magic in a place that's the whole deal is stopping magic would be a big deal? Look, I'm sorry, but you seem really mad at me. Is there a reason besides the fact that I did something wrong? Not quite. The issue is what happens after. Even though you might not be punished, I probably will. You see, when something bad happens due to an anomaly I'm working on, I get reprimanded. If enough things go wrong under my supervision, I could get fired. And in this place, that means losing 11 years from my memory and waking up from a, quote, coma. Oh no! That sounds terrible! It would be, so please don't do this again. I'll try not to, though I don't like making promises in case I can't keep them. Alright. Next video log. At midnight, SCP-8293 begins to perform a thaumaturgic ritual similar to the one used previously to turn objects into cheese. At 1100 hours in the morning, obviously 1100 hours, the ritual is complete. 3 minutes later, Rat Wizard does a happy dance showing excitement that the ritual succeeded. Emergency services call saying that the moon has been turned into what appears to be cheese. We're intercepted worldwide. 8293 moves its front left paw in a circular motion. It slowly shrinks the circle, ending with a small burst of light. 8293 draws a circle in the bedding of its chamber. Inside the circle, it creates a crude drawing of the moon. Further away in his cell, he draws another circle and taps it. The Rat Wizard squeaks in excitement, appearing incredibly, because the moon has disappeared, appeared as a 17-centimeter sphere of Parmesan Reggiano cheese in the Rat Wizard's cell, at which point the Rat Wizard eats the moon cheese. So, whoever's saying, oh yes, the moon is cheese, it wasn't cheese before, but now not only is it cheese, but it's been eaten by the Rat Wizard. Email from Andrew Lynch to Emma Scarborough. Hello, Dr. Scarborough. Due to the recent loss of the moon, your previous project has been bumped to top priority. I hope you're ready to work day and night, because otherwise we may not survive this. I understand that more work beforehand would have helped you now, but to be honest, we did not expect the moon to be turned into cheese and eaten. Signed, Site Director Andrew Lynch. Secure, Contain, Protect. So now I guess Dr. Scarborough goes back to their moon replacement project. SCP-8293 turned the moon into cheese and then ate it. SCP-8293, a rat wizard, turned the moon into cheese and then ate it. That is not news that I was expecting on today's stream, honestly. Thank you, whoever it was that asked about rat SCPs, because now we know the story of Blorb the Wizard Rat. Blorb the Wizard Rat. All right. After that little tangent with SCP-8293, I am now returning to the chat proper. Dr. Drennaborg, thank you for sending a high five to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they returned that crisp high five. Demon Slayer, thank you for sending 1 hundo to today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will continue to keep it 1 hundo at your urging. Intern Bushy, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Get yourself a Choco Taco on your way past the commissary. Someone stole the infinite coffee machine. Are you talking about 294? The machine that, the vending machine? Or are you talking about some other infinite coffee machine? I need more details, Intern Bushy, so I can know how to respond to this. 369 Destroyer, thank you for donating again to say, wow, wouldn't a wizard critter duel be perfect for a non-existent SCP Fight Club if we had one? Frog Wizard versus Wizard Rat. But I don't want the Frog Wizard to be turned into cheese. That doesn't sound very cool. I mean, not that we have a fight club where such a thing could take place, because we don't have an SCP Fight Club at all, That's why we don't have rules about talking about the SCP Fight Club, because there's no SCP Fight Club. And if there's no SCP Fight Club, then there's no rules about not talking about the SCP Fight Club. That totally doesn't take place on the 7th floor gymnasium in the East Wing. Nope, not at all. Intern Darlek, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some fish fingers and custard on your way past the commissary. Sorry, that was me. I need a coffee machine. It's actually a little difficult to do that without getting snatched at checkout these days. Continuing to say, Darlek, thank you for donating again. Luckily, as a notice, coffee machine is gone. So, you know that SCP-294 is not, quote, an infinite coffee machine. It's called the coffee machine, but it has to get the coffee from somewhere. It has to get whatever fluid it gets from somewhere. So it's not actually infinite. It's just stealing coffee from somewhere else. SCP-7287 is SCP Fight Club. You already read about that one, though. DJ, shh. I don't know what you're talking about. Totally does not exist at SCP-27287. Is not a log of battles. That is nothing that I have heard of at all. I have not read this. What are you talking about? News to me. Bushy, thank you for donating again to say. A different one, but it was permanently filled with coffee that was always perfectly brewed. When you filled up your cup, it would be your favorite brew. Okay, at least it's not 294. That would be really annoying because it's that would mess up its site rotation to different commissaries, and we're next, so I wouldn't want to lose 294 privileges for next month. Especially because next month starts tomorrow, so that would be really annoying. But furthermore, okay, well, hey, Darlek, give back that infinite coffee machine, or else I am going to set you on Keter duty. What is the Islamic artifacts mentioned on the thumbnail? Intern Tem. What I want you to do is I want you to go, let me pull it up on the database. On the SCP database, I want you to check out the Oriya Hub. This is the Organization for the Reclamation of Islamic Artifacts, and it is a group of interest that is the Iranian government's version of the SCP Foundation. And so you should check out this hub because they have an archive of different anomalies, some of which we contain but are linked to them, some of them that they have stolen from us are here and there. So there's a bunch of stories for that section, but this is a separate group of interest, the Organization for the Reclamation of Islamic Artifacts, otherwise known as Oriya. We talked about a couple of the anomalies linked to them earlier in the stream in the first 20 minutes. Hi, Dr. Sherman, please answer. I'm a talking fan. I'm anomalous and steal kidneys to donate them to people who need a kidney transplant. What classification would I be? All right, well, since you can both talk and seem to be able to move on your own in order to steal kidneys and donate them to people, that would make you a Euclid class anomaly. Now, if you are somehow able to teleport or go through walls, that would make you a more Keter class anomaly. We'd have to use more heavier containment procedures. But it sounds like you're a Euclid. Are you human? Yes, I am human. Doctor, is it possible to Wizard Rat beat the Scarlet King like he could? Well, first let me stop you there. Remember, the Wizard Rat, as well as every anomaly, is an it, not a he. All anomalies are treated like objects by the Foundation. That way we don't humanize them or sympathize with them, so we don't actually feel bad about containing them for life without them actually having committed a crime. Therefore, we want to free them. We don't like that. So they're all its. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. But the Wizard Rat seemed to have to do a ritual that took 11 hours to turn the moon into cheese. I believe the Scarlet King would have plenty of time to stop the Wizard Rat's ritual. So I'm going to go with Scarlet King wins. Hello, Dr. Sherman. If you don't mind me asking, what was your first work at the Foundation? Intern Red. I started with the Foundation as an archivist, and so I would dictate text documents to voice recordings or vice versa, handling just document transfers, getting inoculated against info hazards for the documents that required that. That was my starting position within the Foundation. Lenny, as a time check, we are currently 80 minutes into this 120-minute stream. We have 40 minutes remaining. Darlek, thank you for donating again to say. Fine, I guess human slush is also coffee. You can have your coffee machine back. What will I tell the residents now? What do you mean, human slush is also coffee? It sounds to me like human slush is human slush, and therefore not coffee. Also, what do you mean human slush? Did you turn someone into ice and then break them so that they are now slush? I am very confused. Intern Bavaro, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Get yourself a hot pickle on your way past the commissary. Urban Shade is not a group of interest, but if it were, how would the Foundation interact or handle them? Be they after the same anomaly? Well, looking at Urban Shade in the same vein as the Global Occult Coalition or the UIU or Oriya, it's always a race to get the anomaly. It's negotiations and diplomacy because they obviously have certain anomalies and weaponry and anomalous weaponry, and we don't want to tangle with anybody our own size. It could cause a lot of problems. So we would attempt diplomacy as well as claiming what anomalies we could, because we are obviously better at our jobs than they are. Darlek, thank you for donating in again to say, what do you think I've been feeding them, nosy agents? So you're feeding them Foundation agents, which means you are poorly utilizing Foundation resources by killing trained agents. That's what you're telling me right now? This is a confession? Dr. Sherman, what do you think about the expression, ignorance is bliss? Well, Intern Red, first and foremost, I wrote the tale on the database called Ignorance is Bliss. And so, pretty big fan, yeah. Ignorance is Bliss is the story, I like to call it, the SCP Foundation in a Terminator movie in the future with pattern screamers inside the Matrix. There's a lot going on. But give Ignorance is Bliss a read. It's about a 30-minute to an hour read, I believe. Darlek, thank you for donating again to say, well, I mean, it's that or getting captured by the SCP Foundation. You know our agents have tracking. You know that we know your location. Yeah, you're getting got. There is no if in this matter. I would voluntarily get in the box. It would be a lot better for you. Dr. Sherman, I'm a very good fan. Can I please get privileges to go through the site? I swear I will only steal the kidneys of Class D or the bad guys. I swear on my mom, who's a ceiling fan in the break room. Unfortunately, intern fan, because of your habitual stealing of kidneys and the risk to staff members, you will not be allowed free roam of the site because of the kidney stealing. Asking for human slush from 294 gives us matter traces to Mount Everest for some reason. We all know the reason that is the response from 294 regarding human slush. Fun fact, my SCP is based off a series of nightmares containing the night terror anomalies I decided to write about. Well, intern Soundwave, good luck on writing that. Dreams can be an important part of the inspiration process. In fact, SCP-3999, I believe, has a very large dream component of what was affecting the author at the time. So, write your SCPs, get them done. Good luck. What is human slush? Intern Couch, I don't think I have to explain human slush to you. It is what it is on the tin. You and SCP has inspired me to make my own group of interest in my own canon with their own SCP equivalents. Thank you for being such an awesome creator. Well, good luck, Intern Albatross. Making a group of interest is a heavy order for the SCP database, at least, because I do believe that it's 5 articles written by at least 2 people to qualify as a full-fledged group of interest on the SCP database. To add to the list, a group of interest must be open to further contributions from site members, so you can't just make it just for you. You got to share. It is a community, after all. The GUI must have been issued with a searchable site tag. More information on requesting tags can be found here. To be eligible for a group tag, a group of interest must feature prominently in a minimum of 5 positively rated articles with at least 3 authors contributing. But it is recommended that you have at least 10 articles by 5 authors, which makes sense. You're trying to build something that the community will utilize for later. So, yeah, good luck, and bring some friends with you on the journey. That'll make it a lot easier, because it is part of the requirement. Dr. Sherman, given your background with D-Class, have you ever encountered SCP-5131? DJ, off the top of my head, I'm not remembering that designation, but I will certainly check. SCP-5131 is codename D13131. Description: a unique form of sleeping paralysis known to affect Foundation personnel of variable rank and position. Despite the majority of these personnel having no connection to each other and usually never having interacted, details of experiences during these periods of sleep paralysis are consistent across accounts. All personnel who have experienced 5131 describe waking up in the middle of the night with a severe feeling of pressure on their chest, unable to move anything except their eyes. Subsequently, they become aware of a hunched-over figure in the corner of the room wearing a D-Class uniform with a pass card, identifying them as D13131. Footnote: at last count, this designation has at some point referred to at least 129 different individuals. Accounts from personnel also indicate that the figure has some form of facial deformity, although the specific nature of this feature is yet to be determined. Over a variable period of time, this figure will slide towards the victim without any visible means of ambulation until it is staring directly in their eyes from a very short distance. This movement process begins slowly, but according to victims increases in speed the more they focus on or think about the figure. Once this figure has reached the victim, they'll begin experiencing sensations as if they were experiencing severe bodily harm, usually in the form of pain from a non-existent injury. Although no actual bodily harm occurs during the process, the realistic nature of these sensations means that personnel who experience them typically suffer from severe psychological after effects. Although it's believed that all Foundation personnel are subject to 5131 manifestations, analysis of victims prior to current containment procedures being enacted suggests that individuals aware of the entity's existence are more likely to experience it. So, no, I have not encountered this anomaly, but now that you've told me about it, myself and everyone in the Containment Hazard Assessment team are more likely to get a visit from the anomaly. You've literally doomed us all. I hope you're happy. Darlek, thank you for donating again to say, they found me. No, left chat. Got him. That's a sick playlist in the background. What is it? Intern Albatross, I would like to introduce you to Slowgramming. Slowgramming is the music project of friend of the channel SCP author Billith. Billith makes experimental, wonky vapor bass, lo-fi, trip hop, down-tempo, chill-out, glitch hop, vaporwave, alt-dimensional, technical, everything. And many of these songs are named and in relation to SCP stories. Here's Weddell's Lament for SCP-7000. We're down here somewhere in the playlist. The Ennui Protocol, which is utilized in the very least SCP-8900-EX. And so Slowgramming has a very large amount of music specifically tailored to the SCP Foundation community. You can find Slowgramming on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Also, Intern Albatross, if you are on Spotify specifically, Slowgramming has a playlist called Middle Distance. And the Middle Distance playlist has a smattering of different albums of Slowgramming's work. Specifically, Billith made this for us so we could use it on stream because there are many songs that come in very quietly or very loudly. Middle Distance is the middle range of volume, so it's consistent and therefore good for stream ambiance. So I would suggest Spotify for the Middle Distance playlist if you want something a steady volume throughout. Raccoon Dog, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as making the effort to go through the Ko-Fi. And I believe you're still a member, so thank you for that as well. Grab yourself a... well, I would say trash, but I always give you trash, and although you are a raccoon, that's what you enjoy. How about just some trash snacks? Why don't you get yourself, like, some hefty chili dogs over at the commissary? Hey, Doc, just stopping by to say, hey, got any trash that needs attending to? Oh, we got plenty. We got all sorts of stuff going on today that I consider to be garbage. So, yes, we appreciate you being back in action. I hope you've been doing well. I think it's been a while since you've been here. Trillion McMillion 42. Good number in your name. Dr. Sherman, I have a question. There are 77 people currently in this chat, and you just used the very small chance that I saw your chat to say I have a question instead of just asking it. So I don't know if I'm going to see you again. I'm sorry. It looks like you wasted your shot. Meanwhile, I have been informed by the chat several times. I forget most recently who, but thank all of you for pointing out that the likes are currently far above the view count. Thanks to you all hitting that like button, we are able to pull more people into the SCP Foundation side of YouTube. They don't even know we're here. We're making ourselves known, and that's thanks to your efforts, Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codename Signal Boosters. Because of your efforts, we will have a better time being a signal antenna to bringing people to the SCP Wiki and supporting its authors and artists, to bringing people to the different SCP animators, game devs, filmmakers, merch makers, podcasters, etc. So we can have bigger and better SCP projects. So thank you for your service. Keep up the good work. Dr. Sherman, how is it making YouTube shorts of SCPs? Well, I find it to be a very fun and fulfilling way to get people into the SCP community and provide a little entertainment on the side. I think it's a good bet. Intern Starlight, you're saying you were adopted by Alistair the radio demon, you're a cat demon? Well, I don't care if you're adopted by whatever. You're asking what containment classification you are, and the answer is Euclid. Because, although you are alive and with powers and able to do things, we are pretty damn good at containing demons nowadays. After all, our interactions with SCP-4357-J, the cooperative demon, it has accidentally given us numerous ways to contain demons that the Department of Thaumaturgy, as well as the Department of Tactical Theology, are exceptionally good at locking down demonic entities. So Euclid at worst. Hey, Dr. Sherman, what group of interest do you hate the most? There are so many, so you should have one you dislike most of all. I mean, Intern Ponic, all of them are wrong because they are not doing the right thing, which is to do what the SCP Foundation does. Contain anomalies from the public, study them, research them, improve life for humanity along the way. The GOC, they're pretty good, but they still destroy a bunch of anomalies unnecessarily. The Foundation loses so many staff members and scientists because you're experimenting on things you should destroy. You're so irresponsible. Yeah, and you are dooming humanity by slowing down our scientific process. So, who's the real loser here? Gawksuckers? I don't have a group of interest I hate the most because they're all wrong equally. They're not us. Implying the SCP Foundation is ethical Lamau. Intern Lanny, we have an ethics committee. Duh. Dr. Sherman, if an anomaly wanted to die, like actually suicidal, so I guess content warning for this question, people, would the Foundation stop it? Did it ever happen? So, the answer is we like to keep anomalies alive so we can study them. Therefore, if an anomaly wanted to end its life, we would stop it from doing so we could continue to study it. Furthermore, it has happened in the past, over the course of a tale called the Pasta Physics Division Orientation by friend of the channel, Dr. Sumerian. In the Pasta Physics Division, orientation. Dr. Sumerian of the Ethics Committee tells us about how, because we were too mean to an anomaly, it ended its own life and caused a lot of problems with us. The short story here is that the anomaly for this anomalous humanoid entity was anytime it felt pain, it caused a localized earthquake. And so, a paper cut would tear down a wing of the site. It was a lot. So we had a lot of very careful things to make sure it couldn't hurt itself. It wanted nachos and hot sauce. Well, the spice would cause problems for the earthquake. So we gave it a goo to eat that would not hurt it. We kept its room very safe. But eventually this made the entity very depressed. And if we had given it some more flavorful food, perhaps it would not have done what it did. Read the orientation for the pasta physics department for more information on this, but suffice it to say, I think I've answered your question. By the way, Site 42 staff, as a time check, we are currently 19 minutes from the end of stream. 19 minutes. Intern Kinos, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a ramen on your way past the commissary. Sir, what do we do if God gets bored and decides to erase our world? Well, that really depends on what you're defining as God in this sense. The SCP Foundation considers multiple things with abilities that might compare them to gods. We contain many things that claim to be gods. But suffice it to say, as the desk puts forth, we throw a cliff at it. Have you guys ever asked the God SCP that if he ever created all of these anomalies, or did they just randomly appear on Earth? So first of all, intern generality, remember, it is an anomaly. It is not a person. We don't call it he. We call it it. It is an object. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. Furthermore, if you're talking about SCP-343, which is what most people colloquially refer to as God, first and foremost, it is not God. It is a reality bender with delusions of grandeur. We have a litany of proof that it is not actually God. Furthermore, whenever we show it certain anomalies we want it to deal with its godly powers, it either pretends it can't see it. When we showed 343 to 682, it just said, I don't see what you're talking about. It's not one of mine. It's not one of mine. But then when other apocalypses come up, it doesn't even warn us, let alone try to help us, because, a father can't shepherd his children too closely and solve all their problems. I have to have you free will. Free will this pistol in your face, you liar. Read the tale, Divine Intervention, for when we shot SCP-3043 in its face. Intern Big Potato, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Is there an SCP that can control its hair, like turning it into hands and stuff? Intern Foxwalker, I know for a fact that we have an SCP relating to hair control. Hold on a second. SCP hair control. SCP-2994 is an anomalous haircut. And if you get this exact haircut, then you gain conscious control over each hair follicle on your body. The abilities are proportional to how well the instructions are followed. So the better you do at getting this haircut, the more successful you are with your hair controlling powers. So SCP-2944, people who have this kind of hair control, they're also prone to unconscious actions. For example, if threatened, a subject's hair may become rigid and stand on end all over the body. Additionally, should a subject have need of an item and reach for it, hair up the arm and on the hand will subtly point towards the desired object. If a subject is cold, longer strands will weave together in simple patterns to preserve warmth. So, SCP-2944, hair control. You're welcome. Can't believe I remembered that one off the top of my head. All right, double check this just to make sure we're not missing anything. There we go. Sir, how do we know if one of the invisible SCPs escape? Intern Key knows. Although an invisible anomaly is usually invisible to the human eye, there are several ways to detect anomalies otherwise, whether using heat vision, using some sort of scanner that works on different visual frequencies, weight plates on the ground of the containment cells so that we know if it leaves the room that the weight of the room has changed. There's many, many ways to make sure invisible entities stay put. Have you guys ever asked SCP-029-J or 343 if he ever made, again, its. They are its. Please practice proper pronoun protocols. Made the SCPs, or did they just appear out of nowhere? Because I quite wonder if Judgment Day does come, will they even get the chance to be judged? So intern generality. Once again, 343, not God. 029-J, Uber driver Jesus, is one of 6 Jesuses that we contain. We have Uber driver Jesus, as you just listed, 029-J, but we also have Bread Jesus, SCP-3305. We have Cock Block Jesus, SCP-4477. We have Vor Jesus, SCP-5991. We have Milk Jesus, aka Cheesus, SCP-6542. And we have Jim Davis, creator of Garfield, who is somehow actually Jesus Christ, SCP-7966. We are lousy with Jizai, and all of them are fairly evasive to questions like that. Dr. Sherman, where's Shy Guy? Right now is he contained? Intern McMillan. SCP-096's containment document clearly states where it is contained. SCP-096 is to be contained in its cell, a 5 meter by 5 meter by 5 meter airtight steel cube at all times. Weekly checks for cracks or holes are mandatory. There are to be absolutely no video surveillance or optical tools of any kind inside 096's cell. Security personnel will use pre-installed pressure sensors and laser detectors to ensure 096's presence inside the cell. Hey, who was just asking about invisible entities? What did I say about pressure sensors? How about that? Guys, I left SCP-096's door open. There is no door, Intern Miller. I just said it is a metal airtight cube. Doors are not airtight, but well, I guess you could have an airtight door. It's a submarine. Screen door on a submarine. Suffice it to say, 096 is contained. Whatever you let out, you gotta put back. Okay, good. I thought I heard sobbing. No, Intern McMillan, that is the sound of hundreds of stressed SCP Foundation staff members dealing with the ramifications of what SCP-5004-B did last night. We're all exhausted. Intern Fox Walker, I have heard of Miss Peregrine's House for the Peculiar Children, but I have never read it or seen the movie. Wait, trumpet, do something. Dr. Frogman, did you happen to miss the massive bombing campaign of Iran last night? The Oriya warehouses being in danger of losing very powerful and very beneficial anomalies that might be lost because of this? Yeah. Not a great day for us. Especially because Oriya doesn't really like cooperating with us. So as much as we would like to help them recontain these anomalies, their lack of accepting our help will cause us a problem. Intern Red, Dr. Sherman, allow me a critique. Using the it pronoun for anomalies to not getting attached is kind of dumb, no offense. A lot of humans often get attached to objects. Yes, but it's less likely. Okay, you're more likely to get attached to a human than you are to a Roomba. Do humans get attached to Roombas? Yes, but less of them do. So it's still a worthy thing to keep professional parlance. Thank you. Intern Researcher Kinos, thank you for donating again to say, what are the requirements to being an SCP? Like, you mean they are unknown entities? Then could the xenomorph count? Do analog horrors count? So, in universe, an SCP must be something that breaks the boundaries of physics as we know it. Now, alien species are kind of a gray area, because some alien species are quite normal biologically, but because humanity as a whole doesn't know about them, they're not considered normal, therefore we still count them as anomalies. So aliens are typically anomalous, but not always. Depends on the canon, depends on the universe. Xenomorphs, technically as an alien entity that was manufactured, that would be an anomaly similar to SCP-3199. The Chicken Men. Human Refuted is the code name. Now, analog horror entities are typically anomalous as well. Now, the secondary category here is that to be an SCP, you don't need to just be anomalous. You actually have to be contained by the SCP Foundation with an SCP document written about you. We have the Log of Anomalous Items, which is a bunch of low-key anomalous items that we don't really need to contain that difficultly. They are not SCPs, they are anomalous items. The Global Occult Coalition contains a whole bunch of anomalies, but they are not SCPs because they're not contained by us. They don't have an SCP document. They are instead KTEs, VTEs, whatever terminology the GOC uses. So to be an SCP out of universe and in universe essentially, you need to be anomalous, you need to be on the SCP database as an SCP document. And so analog horror monsters in real life, they are not SCPs because they're not on the SCP database and they're not SCP documents. I hope this clarifies things. She is so excitable today. But with 7 minutes on the clock, we can have one more little visit with Puppy of Interest 42, codenamed Charlie. And maybe Charlie can have a little treaty. There you go, sweetie girl. The sweetest pumpkin in all of Site 42. No contest. Dr. Sherman, is the Backrooms an SCP? No, because the Backrooms is not on the SCP database. It is anomalous, but it's not contained by the SCP Foundation, so it's not an SCP. Now, the Bathrooms is a wiki on the SCP database. Still not an SCP, but it is at least closer by being on the SCP database. And so if you are interested in the Bathrooms wiki, then you can check out the dangerous trip inside. Come on. Welcome to the Bathrooms. The Bathrooms are here. Look, there's a bin. There's a bin. Look out for the bin. Oh, that's too much toilet paper. Gotta be anomalous. It's in the bathrooms. Anomalous toilet paper in the bathrooms. Why does this toilet have a shower? Why does it need it? Who knows? That's the anomaly in the bathrooms. Sink. 4 out of 10. Where'd you get that goat? Threat entity. The goat in the bathrooms. So yes, feel free to interrogate the bathrooms wiki at your leisure. All right, I'm refreshing the chat because we're having a bit of a glitch. And we're back. There's a sentient toilet in my front yard. I think it's anomalous. Oh no, intern generality. You've fallen into the bathrooms. You need to run. You need to run and find a way out of the bathrooms. Don't forget to wash your hands. Since we are getting SCP-294 tomorrow, have you heard the SCP-294 song, It's Not Half Bad? What do you mean, the SCP-294 song? No, I've not heard of this. What song are we making about a coffee machine? I heard you got your role into an SCP movie. Intern Gamer Squad 0. Containment Breach the movie by Keter Labs is... We're talking about maybe a Dr. Sherman cameo. We're thinking that might be possible. We'll have to see. It's a song by Kyle Allen Music on YouTube. I will have to check that out. But of course, music on YouTube gets a little iffy with copyright, so I'll be checking Kyle Allen Music's SCP-294 song later on. Do you have eyebrows? Intern that one guy. I am known as a living DreamWorks character for this eyebrow right here. Yes, it is very impressive, Puppy of Interest. I do agree. It's very cool. Dr. Sherman, do you believe in astrology, zodiac signs, and all that? I wonder if we have any SCPs about that. But normally I'm not into hokum such as astrologies or things like that without looking at the SCPs that affect them. But I am the most Leo person to ever Leo, so I can't argue that there is not some fundamental truth involved. $10 gifted memberships, and I bet Dr. Sherman will give Charlie a snack. If that happens before I finish my outro, then sure. Because we are literally at the end of stream, everyone. And so while I do the outro, if that happens, then sure, I'll give Charlie a treat on you guys' behalf. But in the meantime, at the end of stream, I always tell you guys my favorite SCPs. Of course, I'm not going to tell you that my favorite SCPs are the ones I personally wrote. That would be cheating. But if you want to see the SCPs I personally wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can see the SCPs I personally wrote or contributed a voice line or a sound effect to. And while you are looking at my author page, one tab over from the SCPs, you'll see some links. Links that people are often very interested in finding. They ask about them all the time, but then they never hunt them down. It's so sad for them. They're just not determined enough. But not you, Containment Hazard Assessment Team. No, no, no. You are the determined type, which is why I know you'll go to that author page. You'll find those links. And while you're there, you can become a Patreon patron or a YouTube channel member to donate to us monthly. You can do a Ko-Fi or a YouTube Super Chat. They haven't donated 10 memberships yet. Give them time. You can find a Ko-Fi or a YouTube Super Chat if you want to donate to us one at a time. Either way, we appreciate your direct donations. They're the quickest way to keep Site 42's lights on for myself as well as the SCP Foundation staff members. And if you're part of the Broke Gang, do not fret. We understand Broke Gang. Trust me, we're an arts community. Starving artists is a lot of us around these parts. But you can still help us out by being a valuable and honorable member of Mobile Task Force Sci 42, codename the Signal Boosters. When you like, share, subscribe, comment, chat, not just for us, but on the SCP projects of fellow SCP content creators. Maybe like Dr. Man SCP, who just started their own YouTube channel with their first video about SCP-682 debuting today. Their channel is so new, in fact, that I can't actually find their YouTube channel very easily, which is annoying. But Desk will certainly share this link in the chat so that you guys can find it more easily after I pop it over to Desk. So Desk has it to share. Because if the head of the SCP Wiki administration, literally the master admin of the SCP Foundation Wiki, has things to say, it's probably not a bad idea for us to check in and see what's up. And so check out Dr. Man's YouTube channel. Say hello from Site 42 and Dr. Sherman while you're there. Furthermore, Desk, you told me that Radiger might be streaming on Twitch right now. If that is true, Desk, then why don't you share Radiger's link in the chat as well? That way people can go find Radiger on Twitch. Again, say hi from Dr. Sherman for me. And so, when you help us as a member of Mobile Task Force Sci 42 to support the SCP Wiki and its authors, artists, animators, game devs, filmmakers, merch makers, podcasters, streamers, etc., you are helping us to get bigger and better SCP projects, which means a better SCP community for all of us. So I thank you for your service. Now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one, it's a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031-5175-530-8980, cut to one last one. Whew. And so Site 42 stuff, this has been another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Go check out Dr. Man SCP on YouTube, and then, after you've watched that video, hang out with Radiger on Twitch. Tell them both Dr. Sherman sent you. And as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Yeah, yeah, some folks inherit star-spangled eyes. Ooh, they send you down to war, Lord. And when you ask them, how much should we give? Ooh, they'll answer more, 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 more. Ooh, it ain't me. It ain't me. I ain't no military son, Lord. It ain't me. It ain't me. I ain't no fortunate one. The credit song is Fortunate Son by Credence Clearwater Revival. Be safe, be well, Site 42 staff. Don't forget to say hello to Dr. Man and Radiger for me. And as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream.